Hello and welcome to Hot Money Technicals on Bloomberg Quint Live, India's first digital live streaming business news service. This is a show which gets you a complete wrap of all the stocks that are buzzing in trade. I'm Darshan Mehta. Let's welcome our experts then. Amit Shah of India Bulls Ventures, NS Pidai and Kunal Parar of Choice Broking joins us on the show. Thank you to all of my guests for joining me on the show. But before we go to our guest, let's go across to Yash Upadhyay, who has a Bloomberg chart on LIC Housing Finance. Yash, what is the chart indicating?
Good afternoon, Darshan. So LIC Housing Finance is the stock and a sell call coming in with the help of the proprietary fear and greed indicator. Now, we've seen that the stock has run up quite a bit from the levels of about 400 at the start of November to as high as 450. But since then, over the last 4 trading sessions, it has been correcting quite a bit and has come under pressure. And with that, the fear and greed indicator has turned negative. Now, it oscillates on a zero basis line. And how do you interpret it? You go long when the trender indicator flips its color. So when it goes from red to green, you're supposed to go long, and when it flips the color from green to red, you go short, indicating that that the bears would be overtaking the bulls, and that is something that is showing on the charts as far as LIC Housing Finance is concerned.
And if you backdate this data, Yash, whenever this indicator turned, how much of a profit or a return that you got?
So on an average, over the next 10 days, every time that the indicator has turned negative, it would have given you a return of close to 4.5% on an average over the next 10 days. Okay,
so that's the view that's coming in on LIC Housing Finance. Thank you so much for that, Yash. Amit, LIC Housing Finance, how does that look to you on the chart?
Yes, I would agree with him. 448 was kind of a double bottom, so it was a short consolidation, and it has broken down from that. So yes, 410 kind of levels on the downside can be expected. Even the weekly trend has changed after some time. So yeah, some downside warranted.
Okay, NS, so what do you make of LIC Housing Finance? Would you go short on it?
It is on weakness is there, and the stock will remain weak till it stays below 460.
Okay.
So he's right.
At this level, someone can initiate a short?
Yeah, one can initiate a short and still have a possibility of going short if it comes up to 455, 457 with a stop loss around 461. And the person can expect around 420 or even 400 probably.
Okay, so that's a potential weakness. What about you, Kunal? What's your reading of LIC housing chart?
Yeah, I have the same view of LIC, means it may plunge from the present level as well. Means it has given a breakout of its range bound movement on daily chart, as well as it has started to trade below its 21 DMA. So I'm expecting a downside movement from the present level. Even though weekly chart also indicates a strong resistance at 473 level, where it recently faced this level. So based on the daily plus based on the weekly chart, I'm expecting a downside movement from the present level. And specific level, if I say, then I'm seeing somewhere around 410.
Okay, so that's a potential downside. The Bloomberg consensus also shows us, and what our 3 experts also show us. But let's get started with Hot Money. Amit, you can join me here. The first chart that he wants to talk about is AUROPHARMA. Let's have the chart on screen. And you believe it's a positive breakout on the stock.
Okay. So we have both the charts here?
Yeah, we can have both the charts. Sure. So I think you wanted the other chart. You want you want the monthly first?
Monthly first is also fine. Yeah. So if we see overall, the pharma cycle has been in a correction since the last almost 2.5 to 3 years. But this one, the correction here is more of a sideways correction than a deep correction, which itself tells you about the relative outperformance of the stock. Now, recently the stock has been, which will be more visible clearly on the daily chart. But it can test this red line, which is somewhere around 890 kind of an area. Can we have the daily chart on this?
You'll have the daily chart on the screen. Just hold on. So you're saying there's a potential of an upside on the counter. Yes. So I think let's just have the chart.
Sure.
It's a machine anyway. It sometimes just takes time. Wait a minute. Thanks. Okay, so just tell us the targets and the stop loss that we'll try to get in the chart.
What I expect is the stock.
This is your data.
Yes. What I expect is the stock to test its all-time high areas of 890. See, if we see this phase of the stock has had almost a parabolic move. It is almost a like a sharp move upside. Generally, this happens when there is strong strong money participation basically. So generally these kind of phases are a strong buyer kind of a setup. And also if we see it has broken the recent trend line on the upside, a proper test of the same one, and again yesterday was an early indication of the restart of its up move. So 890 is what I think it should test its all-time highs of 890, and beyond that I think once it reaches on the upside sustainably the all-time highs, 970 can also be the target on the upside.
Okay, your stop loss is 774.
Correct.
And
right.
how soon do you see 890 coming in? What's the time?
890 I think probably should happen within probably 2 weeks or so. Yeah. So that is for the, of course 970 probably would take even more time, but I think it's headed there.
Okay, so that's the potential upside of almost 80 rupees on Aurobindo Pharma. Thank you so much for that, Amit. NS, do you agree? Aurobindo Pharma, would you take your bet buying this stock?
I absolutely agree with Amit, and the stock looks very good. It's in it's on the verge of a breakout, you can say, above 835, 840. The stock can go up to 895, and if it crosses 905, 910, then you can expect much higher levels also, probably.
Will you buy at this level, or would you wait for it?
I would like to buy, and I would like to buy on dips also up to 790.
Okay, 790. So that's is Auro looking the strongest in the pharma pack at this point of time?
You can say so. Auro looks better.
Okay.
Compared to other stocks.
Okay, Kunal, what's your bet? Would you bet on Aurobindo Pharma, or would you bet on some other pharma stock?
Actually, I was the same view. Means AUROPHARMA, if I talk about, then it has been trading with a strong support of 50 DMA. Recently, I can say that on 26th October, it took a support of 50 DMA, and after that, it gave a good bounce back. And right now, it is trading on a verge to give a breakout. So if it trades above 830, 835, then definitely we will see a good upside move up to the level of 890. So means even volume activity is also above an average, and I think RSI is also giving a breakout of its downward falling trend line. So based on this indication, I can say yes, AUROPHARMA is a good bet for long position.
Okay, so it's a consensus bullish call that's coming in on Aurobindo Pharma. Levels of 890 is something that's been spoken about. 774 is the stop loss that Amit has recommended, but that's the trend, one of the strongest looking counters on the pharma space at this point of time. From pharma to another company that's heavily dependent on the rupee, and that is Wipro. NS has a chart on Wipro. Let's see what it has, and it has managed to outperform some of the other IT stocks of late. What's the chart? It's at 335. What's your view on?
Basically, this is a monthly chart. If you see, and the stock has been being resisted on this trend line.
Okay.
And now it has shown some traction where it wants to go on the upside. There is a bullish moment over there. It has closed above the horizontal trend line, which is also, you can say, on weekly charts, when we see, this will look like a cup and handle, and probably a small handle for the next handle. So this is your weekly chart, and the target would be something like 390, 410 in extreme short term. That could be 2 to 4 weeks probably. And so this is the chart on if you see, it's a huge cup and handle on weekly. And if we convert this into daily, there's a line chart, so basically it's on closing basis, so it has already given a breakout. On daily, if you see, it is just it's unable to cross, but today also it is showing bullishness. So I would prefer to go along. If it dips, like today did around 328, I would have preferred to buy around 328, 325. Even this level is good. If it crosses 340, 343, then
what's the difference between this white line and red line?
The white line is basically that's a horizontal line that I'm trying to see whether if it's able to close above this. Like here on this is on closing basis, the red line, and this is on the you can say the tops are covered. Okay. So once the tops are taken out, technically it would give a breakout.
What's the stop loss that you would keep if someone?
Well, I would like to keep a stop loss somewhere around 316.
316, and what's the target that you said?
390, 410. If it crosses 410, then we can have much higher levels.
Okay, so we'll keep 390 as the first target for Wipro. Thank you so much for that, NS. Kunal, would you be a buyer in Wipro?
Yes, definitely. The way it has been trading, since last 3 to 4 days, I think Wipro may give a further upside movement from the present level. Means, no doubt, it has given breakout of his, on a smaller time frame of downward sloping trend line. So based on this, construction on the daily chart with above average volume, means I'm expecting a good upside movement from the present level. Level-wise, if I talk about, and definitely, my view is for 350, 355, while downside at this level support comes at 320. So it's like any plunge in the stocks would become a good buying opportunity for Wipro.
Okay, so that's the second positive view that we are getting in on Wipro. Amit, would it be a consensus third thumbs up?
Sure, yeah. So around that 340, it's a breakout zone. Yesterday it attempted breaking out of that zone, closed a tad lower than that. So if it's a momentum call, I would actually wait for a closing about 342 to actually buy the stock with a near-term stop loss of 320. My sense is once it convincingly closes above 340, 342 zone, overall it's headed for 380, 385 kind of a upside target.
So I think it's a consensus, a bullish call that's coming in on Wipro. Amit said that he would do a wait and watch on if the stock starts to move on the higher side and then take a call, probably about the 340 level. But I think the consensus call that we're getting in is that levels of 380, 390 or even potentially higher than 400 is something that we can look at. We'll stick with IT now, and Kunal has a call on TCS. Kunal, if you can join me, we'll have the chart of TCS, and you'll need to explain to us what makes you bullish on TCS.
First of all, you can see over here, stock has started its upside movement. Means the stock has started to trade above 50 DMA. Means that's a good sign for timing. And as well as if you have a look over here, then you can see that the stock has formed a double bottom after forming all-time high, and stock has given a breakout of this neckline. So whenever this kind of structure take place on a daily chart, usually we see a good upside movement. So so based on this formation, I can say that the stock may give a further upside movement from the present level. As well as you can see that after forming all-time high, the stocks has taken a support of its 200 DMA. So it's a big sign for stocks to accelerate this upside movement. So with this kind of structure, even with the weekly chart, I can say that the stocks could accelerate its upside movement up to the level of 2070 to 2100 with the stop loss of 1935.
Okay, 1935. That's a very strict stop loss, and the target that you said is
2070 2100.
Okay, 2070 is a short-term target, and 2100 is the slightly longer-term target. The first target, what's the time frame?
I think it may achieve this target within this 1 week, because on an early chart the stock has given a breakout of his flag formation, which is a continuation formation. So based on this formation, I can say 2070 I think we can expect within this Friday.
Okay, so thank you so much for that, Kunal. NS, what's your view on TCS 2013 right now? Would you venture a bet at this point of time, or would you wait?
I would also go long with this stock, and at this current juncture also I would like to buy, and I would like to raise my stop loss instead of because it has already given a breakout. I would keep stop loss around somewhere around 1970-ish.
Okay, what about you, Amit?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it looks bullish. It has formed a double bottom. It has twice taken support near its 200 EMA. So, and the recent, if you look a few trading sessions before, it has formed a large candle which indicates bull power. So, and after that, stock has been consolidating, and it's just showing signs of breaking out. So, if it sustains the breakout, then yes, a move towards 2100, 2120 in the short term is definitely possible.
Okay, so again, it's a consensus view that we are having on TCS. And moving on to the second round, I think we're just betting mostly on pharma and IT. Again, another pharma stock that Amit has spoken about, and that's Alembic Pharma. Amit, what makes you bullish on Alembic Pharma?
Yeah, again, more or less, the same kind of a structure, or I would say even better than what probably AUROPHARMA is. The long-term Okay, this is
the monthly chart.
monthly, correct. Yeah. So see the way I mean, of course, this is not a short-term chart, so you cannot call it a flag, but it resembles almost the same thing. You know, a big bull move on the long-term charts and been consolidating for a long time now. If you see, it's been taking supports here on the monthly, so it's a perfect setup. What this kind of charts suggest is, you know, the buyers and the holders of the stock, they are very confident, and hence you are not seeing sharp moves even when you know, the farmer was going through a bad phase, and that's not a small phase. That's probably an year. I mean, a phase of 2-3 years. So I mean, immense strength, I would say, in the stock and in the near term as well. If we can switch over to the daily. Even on the daily, if you see, it's been holding it to its near-term averages, has cleared the recent, you know, sideways consolidation, again followed by a large bull candle. So I think the consolidation is getting over, and even in the shorter-term charts, it's readying for an up move. So the overall setups looks quite nice, and even in the short term, I think you know, it's readying for the up move.
Okay, so 624 it is where it's trading right now.
Right.
What's the target that you are anticipating?
I'm expecting 710 as the first target. Of course, it's a positional call, but I think pharma is in the initial stages of its accumulation. So yes, there's not much of momentum, but for investors, definitely this phase you know, has a lot of upside potential. So 710 is the first target that I'm expecting, and beyond that, once it sustains, you know, looking for 780 on the upside.
And stop losses?
The stop loss for this one is 549.
Okay, so that's a pretty long-term chart. So if you're saying it's a positional call, what's the time frame?
You know, this probably, even the higher targets can possibly happen in next 1 to 2 months. Basically.
Okay, so it's a 2-month call that Amit has spoken about. Thank you so much for that, Amit. NS, would you be bullish on Alembic Pharma?
Yes, I would be bullish, and I would prefer to buy on dips rather than right now, or like, you know, if it gives a breakout also, there is a bit of resistance around 665. So I would, like, you know, be very cautious with my longs till it does not cross 675.
Okay, you will buy only post 675. Kunal, what would you say on Alembic Pharma?
Yeah, means I'm seeing an upside movement even from the present level. Means no, the stock has religiously respecting its 200 DMA, and recently, you know, on 26th November, it made a low of 553, exit the 200 DMA, and after that it gave a good upside movement. Even it formed a long bull candle with the, you know, above average volume. So based on this, you know, based on this structure, even on a weekly chart, I'm seeing a good upside movement from the present level somewhere around 660, and if it gives a breakout of 660, definitely we can see a more 700 plus. So even from the present level, I can say that it's a good level to buy, and if any plunge in the stocks up to the level of 600 or 595, it will become a good buy level for the target of 660 and above 700 plus.
Okay, so that's a view that's coming in. Over 700 targets coming in on Alembic Pharma. Two of our guests do believe it's the right time to start accumulating. NS is indicating that he will buy only above 675 for a bullish target that's coming. But the consensus is that it's a bullish call that's coming. The next one, now we are finally moving out of IT and pharma, and it's Coal India that we want to talk about. I'm sorry. Coal India, this is your chart. Okay, so I'm sorry for our viewers, but Kunal, yes, you can come on and speak about Coal India. Yeah.
Okay. If we talk about Coal India, then Darshan, you can see over here, this is the first time, second time, and this is the third time after taking a support of this, you know, multi-support zone. You can see over there, the stock gave a good upside movement, and you know, right now stock is trading at the near to its multiple support zone. So you know, we can expect same replicate movement from the present level. And can we have a daily chart?
Yeah. Okay. So we'll shift to the daily chart on Coal India. It's a 246. I think there's some technical issue, but yeah, you can.
Even on daily chart, stock is from hammer candlesticks, and right now, RSI is trading near to its oversold zone. So whenever RSI plunge below 30 level, after that.
You can show the RSI. Yeah.
No, it's a monthly chart. I'm talking about daily RSI. Okay, so whenever RSI fall below 30 levels, after that we have seen good upside movement in the particular counters. Okay, so right now daily RSI is trading to near 30. So based on these and based on the hammer candlesticks formation, I can see that it's a perfect bullish reversal formation with the help of monthly chart. And based on this formation, I can say that the call India can accelerate its upside movement, or it can give a bounce back movement from the present level. And upside that I am seeing at this level is somewhere around 270, 275 with the support of 239.
275, and how soon do you expect 275 to come in?
This is a low beta stock, so I think it will take 8 to 9 days.
Okay, 8 to 9 days. So positive view coming in on Coal India. We'll ask our guest. Thank you so much for that, Kunal. NS, what's your view on Coal India?
Well, I feel Coal India has a cap around, there is a lots of resistance around 260 and 265. That's where, I believe, the stock will face lots of resistance, though from 240 to 265 would be something like 10%, so there would be some correction also from there. I would prefer to buy it on dips around 240-ish.
Okay.
And keep a stop loss at 238 or 235. That should be the better way to buy right now. But it's a good bet if you buy it on dips.
Okay, what about you, Amit?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it has, the multiple supports around 235, but still stock is not showing, great amount of energy near its supports. So I would want to miss this stock, Again, there's a lot of cap on the upside, as he mentioned, around 260. So I would not be too bullish on the Coal India right now.
Okay, so contradictory views coming in on Coal India at this point of time. Kunal, who gave the stock, is quite bullish on the counter. NS is saying that he would buy on dips, and what Amit is saying is that he wouldn't actually bet on the counter at this point of time. And the last stock is ADANIPORTS, and that's where NS has a call. It's a sell. I think it's the first sell call of the day. What makes you bearish on the counter? NS?
Yeah, if you see this, it's a long downward sloping channel. Okay, and the stock has resisted on this trend line quite often. And if you look at RSI also, RSI is almost in oversold zone, and it has always respected RSI around that area. So whenever the price, if you see here, if it is at top, the RSI was almost at touching the top area. So very difficult for the stock to cross over. I would want to go short around 380-ish.
Okay.
And even in second tranche, I would go short around 388 with keeping a stop loss at 394, because this stock has a tendency to surprise you with a false breakouts.
Okay.
So that is the reason I'm keeping a double strategy where I will go short on the higher side. Okay. Keep a stop loss around 394. Okay, and would like to buy somewhere around 345.
345. That's the view that you have.
And then if it breaks 345, then we can even see it coming all the way down to
so my only question is that it's a bullish formation here. My only thing is, are you just taking this resistance into consideration?
There is RSI also that is supporting my view.
Okay.
Okay. And another thing, if you see, the stock has moved up almost from 290. Okay, and up to 380. So that is almost you can say 20-25% move has already been done.
Yeah.
So almost 30% move. So there is some the stock has gone one way upside.
Okay.
And I feel the stock is tiring out.
Okay.
It doesn't have that energy to go up and means make a new higher highs.
Okay, so that's the view, fair view. Thank you so much for that, NS. Amit, 375 ADANIPORTS. What would you go do? Long, short? What's your strategy?
I would wait for a breach of 362 to go short, because it has actually given a consolidation breakout. So unless and until it does not break 362 on the downside, I would not short this counter at this point of time.
Okay, what about you, Kunal? What's your view?
I have same view. Darshan, means it has given a breakout of its range bound movement, and right now it is trading at 375, and 200 DMA comes at 370. So it is trading above its 200 DMA. So it's like a good upside movement signal. And even after forming all-time high, the stock has stock gave a healthy correction. But with the support of 200 weeks moving average, stock halted its downside movement, and we have been seeing upside movement with that support. So with the ongoing structure, I can say this is not the level to go for short. Definitely, I say that if it breaches 360, then definitely we'll go for a short. And and if it breaks 360, then we can see we will see a downside movement up to the level of 339 and somewhere around 320. So at this level, 360 is a strong support, means that for the time being it's a strong support.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in. NS would want to go short at a higher level and even at a much higher level, so that's why he's given a 2-point strategy. But the other two guests believe that they will short the counter only if levels of 360 are broken on the downside. And the final stock, Yash has a chart on Escorts. Yash, what is the chart indicating?
Afternoon, Darshan, once again. So Escorts is another call that we, another sell call to end the day with, and another Bloomberg proprietary indicator, which is the trender indicator. We saw a nice up move in the month of November for another stock, this time for Escorts, going from the levels of 600 to 700, almost a 100 rupee up move that we saw. But for the last 3 trading sessions, it has come under a bit of a selling pressure, and this is a key level to watch out for, because the trender line, which is the one in green over here, that is hovering very close to the current market price, which stands at about 673 rupees. Should it manage to close below the 673 mark, the trender indicator would flip its color to red, indicating that there could be further downside from these levels.
Okay, and if you backtest this, Yash?
So on an average, 5 out of the last 7 times that the indicator has turned a negative, it would have given you positive returns had you gone short to the extent of 5.5% over the next 10 trading sessions.
Okay, 675 is where Escorts is. Amit, what would you do with Escorts?
I frankly had a bullish call on Escorts.
That's fair.
Yes, but yes, it looks like probably it was a false break on the upside. And yeah, I mean, now it's since it's staying below the 690 kind of levels, yes, it can correct further. I mean, generally breakout which fails on the upside tends to have a very sharp downside as well. So this could be the probable candidate for the downside as well.
Okay, NS, your view on Escorts?
Yeah, break below 670 or 668 would be like, catastrophic for this stock. It can go like, very sharply down and come all the way around like 660-ish, sorry 600-ish. So there would be a 10% downside over there. So Yash has got a very good call over there.
Okay, what about you, Kunal? What's your view on Escorts?
Actually, if we have a weekly chart, then you can see that recently means the stock has faced a strong resistance of 21 weeks moving average, and Escort is like religiously following this 21 weeks moving average. So that creates a negative signal at this level. And if you have a look, then even 21 DMA comes at 675, and right now Escort is trading below it. So based on this moving average concept, and even if you have a look on weekly RSI, then weekly RSI right now it is facing a strong resistance of its downward falling trend line. So based on this stuff, I can say that the stock may plunge from the further level. So definitely I'll go with a short view.
Okay, so that's the view that's coming in on Escorts, a short view, probably a consensus view that we are getting at this point of time. But with that, it's a wrap on today's edition of Hot Money. Kunal, NS, Amit, thank you so much for coming into the studios today. Ask BQ comes up next. Stay tuned to Bloomberg Quint.